Hello and welcome to another Coffee with Developers. Today we have a special edition because I got to learn about Cassandra from her father, I think, at All Things Open. And Cassandra is a developer herself, but she also is an educator. And she wrote a book about getting young people into development. So, what drove you to actually start doing that? Like, was it learning by doing, or why did you get started with as educating rather than just having a career first?
So I'm really happy to be here today. This is the book which I'm talking about. It's called Raising Young Coders, and I published this recently with A Press. And I wrote this because I want to inspire kids and especially young girls to get into technology. So it's really a parent's guide to show their kids, and then it's a project-based book, so it's for inspiring learning.
So parents can work with their kids to it. It's not for the kids themselves. It's just, I mean, it normally, Hello Ruby was a similar project that I knew in the past that basically helped parents to sit down with their kids and get them into development that way. So how is it built up? Is it basically just learn development, or do you learn the logic of programming first?
It's mainly the logic of programming. Like, there's no actual, there's coding at the end, but we're not teaching like fundamental Java or Python principles. It's more like the inspiration, like, if you do these things, you can make this cool robot move. Just like showing kids the outcomes by putting in a little bit of hard work.
That sounds amazing. So, was it something that you missed yourself? How did you get into programming? What did you get started with?
For me, like, I actually used to attend kids' workshops when I was in elementary school. So, like, when I was 9 or 10 years old, there was this organization called DevOps for Kids, which was local to me. And during the weekends, they would host these weekend workshop activities. And they had like a Play-Doh workshop and like circuits. There was a Minecraft workshop where they taught Minecraft modding. Minecraft is just a block game, and there's a big modding community behind it, so you can go into the game code and change the Java code to make things happen in game. So like fun projects like that I did over the weekend. I also had a friend who was really interested. And I think like also my dad was teaching some of those workshops at the time. Like he was teaching this Raspberry Pi workshop. He was teaching a game called Mary Had a Little Lambdas, but it was just a 8-bit game with a girl on screen and she had like a flock of sheep following her. But he would encourage the kids to change the color of the sheep. And I think there were also chickens you could hatch. So just making small code changes in the game is what the workshop was about. Since I was his daughter, I wasn't really doing the workshop, but I was just like watching on the side over and over again. And sometimes I would help out with the kids. So at some point, I took over teaching it.
I guess that makes sense because you have a closer relationship to it. It's interesting though, like, because normally the things that our parents do are not cool. But you stepped into his footsteps, so to say, and took over. But it's great to see that these things are happening more and more. I remember back in the days we had a few of those as well in Sweden where I used to live. There were a lot of those where parents could come with their kids and they both learn the ideas of programming. And I love when you said Minecraft that it's hackable. It's really really good about it. Like I hated when software became just a consumption thing rather than a creation thing. And you do in your normal day-to-day job, do you work as a developer right now or do you work as an educator more?
Actually, I graduate with a computer science degree in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So after that, I'll just be a book author because I am working on a new book.
Okay.
And that new book is called AI First Programming. So it's a programming fundamentals book, but teaching AI development and Copilot from the start. It's closer to like a 101 book. So like if you went to the library and you wanted to learn Java, then you'd pick up a beginner's Java book. So it teaches you all the fundamentals. It's just in my book, it'll also teach you how to use Copilot in the IDE to guide you along.
Okay.
So it should
So like,
speed up the learning a bit since you're not memorizing all the syntax. You just have to understand it and apply it.
and it is pretty cool how these things are open source and available. I mean, Copilot, of course, is not fully free, but Visual Studio Code is that basically you can start with an environment to not have to spend any money or sign up as a developer to pay licenses first to do these kind of things. That was always the thing that I loved about development. Like it feels nowadays that when people say that they're just starting as developers, they have to use Claude or they have to use a cursor, and that means you spend like $100 a month just to develop with it because you're using up these tokens. And that always felt to me like one of those gatekeeping things. Like I didn't have money when I started as a developer, so I couldn't afford $100 a month. I had to first find a customer to actually pay me for what I'm doing. So it feels like that barrier has come down immensely. So anybody can start can start working with it. What was the feedback like so far about the book? Did you get like parents to contact you? Do you get kids to contact you? Do you do workshops around the books as well?
For the Raising Young Coders book,
Hmm.
I think I sent it to a lot of people I know in the community to read it and review it, and I generally got positive feedback from them. A lot of them tried it with their kids. Like one of the projects is this paper circuits project, and when you press the fish, it makes the ears light up. So
Cool.
if you open this up, it's actually these copper tape circuits, and when you close the booklet together, it just makes contact on two sides of the coin battery.
Okay. So those are
So
coin batteries. Then yeah. Okay.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
a coin battery. So one of the people in the community actually took this and did it in a classroom with their kids. So like all the kids in the class tried this, and they didn't have the copper tape. Like this is specialty conductive tape, and they live in Estonia, so they couldn't have easy access to this special tape, but they just replaced it with regular wires and it still worked.
Yeah,
The kids
I
learned.
remember there. I remember there was a keyboard. There was also an Arduino type thing that had like clips, and you could just use graphite. You just use a pencil and basically paint with that, and that was also conducting. So you could just take a pencil painting and then connect the different things together and do logic circuits that way. So that was a really interesting thing to work. I remember when I worked at Mozilla, I did I used that one to do like when you high fived and touched the table at the same time, it took a picture of you. So these physical things seem to be like a really good way to get people into it. Do you think that's a limitation of the teaching that we do these days when it comes to like, oh, you want to become a developer? Here's a book, learn the syntax. Do you think we have to find better ways to get people via something physical to get into the non-physical part of it?
Um, I think it is important. Like, there actually is embedded development and people in their careers who do combine the physical and software. But I think especially for kids and people starting out into programming, having a connection between something you touch and programming that can help a lot. Because especially at the beginning when you're just learning like beginning language syntax, there's not much you can do except have some text show up in console. So I
Hmm.
think some of these projects, like the pencil one you mentioned, it gives you more immediate results on what you can do.
Hmm. That's why I always loved JavaScript because you could do or web development. You do something in HTML and you build a website. You make your own website for yourself. You put pictures in there. You resize the images. Everything you do has a visual outcome. I never got excited about database optimization or something like that because there was nothing physical or nothing visual for me to see the result of it. Do you feel that it needs a certain mindset to actually be excited about the things that don't show anything?
Um, Well, I think you start by learning the fun things. Like normally when teaching programming, you first design a game or something like visual, like the HTML website you mentioned. But I think as you get deeper into programming, some people can have a larger appreciation for things you can't see, like databases. But I think it's really up to the person.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, great that people get excited about it because I love working with them. I always found that like when you look at the media right now, everybody says like you can use AI and become a developer immediately and get a good job and get lots of money, and you don't think about it. Let the AI do the thing. What made you think about like we teach people the basics again? Like, why did you think that was a necessary step to actually have?
I've played around with like Claude Code before and like Copilot. It's really easy to develop this huge and complicated program that you don't even understand. Like there's this game called Wordle where you try to guess words, like 5-letter words. I asked the AI to develop it and it just spit it out really quickly. But
Mm.
if there were any bugs in it, I can't imagine that someone who doesn't know how to program could fix it or even improve it. So I mean, because I can read code and I understand the fundamentals, I can fix the application. But I feel like the fundamentals are something that people are missing. You can't just jump into vibe coding. You have to understand how to program and work with it.
I found the same when I started explaining things to people. I mean, you've written a book as well. I learned so much by writing my books because I couldn't fake it any longer. You know, for years I was a developer. I got paid for it. I used the programming language that I wrote my book on. I used it professionally, and everybody thought I was an expert, but I was just lucky to a degree. And then I started writing the book about the language, and then I had to understand why the things did the things that they did. And I think that was for me an eye-opening experience to like to learn something. Teaching it to others is an incredibly good way of getting your head around things because you don't feel like a fraud all the time. You don't feel like I'm doing that but I can't be proud of it because I don't know how it works. But once you actually start explaining it to people, then you feel like, oh, now I get it. Do you also feel like that educating people gets you better as a developer or as an engineer yourself?
I actually feel exactly the same way. Like, I learn better by teaching people rather than just reading something. Like, just the other day, like, I'm writing my book about Python. So, like in Python, you don't have braces or curly brackets. You have to do the tabs for spacing. But, like, I always just pressed the tab. I never even considered why there's an indentation in Python, like, why it matters. So I had to go back and read the entire documentation so that I have to know more than the reader so that I could explain it in a simple way.
Hmm. Why are you choosing Python? Because of the AI
Uh, it's-
idea,
we're
or
doing a book series, so I'm writing the AI first Python book, and my dad and Jennifer are doing the AI first Java book. So it's like language
okay,
specific books.
okay. Yeah, Java and Python, these are very much different worlds. It's a very interesting. It's interesting to see that Python is older than Java, and I didn't realize that until I looked it up again, and it had this like dormant area where nobody bothered with it too much, and now with AI and being the number one AI language, and also even Excel supporting Python now, it seems like it's a language that is easier to learn than all the others so far. I mean, I learned Perl and then I started assembly, then Perl and then JavaScript. And JavaScript is so wonderful because you never know what happens. Anything can happen, and it's a very undefined language, and I find that always fascinating to see. But it's great to see that people take on Python very quickly and sort that. So there's a whole series on books with AI first, based on language rather than based on framework.
Yeah, we're currently developing it now. Like, I just finished chapter 3, so it should
Okay,
be out in around spring 2026.
cool. How did it feel to get your book published? I remember I was in the last round of editing, and then it was already advertised at the same time. So I was sitting in a bookstore in Los Angeles on my laptop, writing my chapter, and seeing a poster that my book's coming out soon. It really scared the hell out of me. But it feels weird to be so excited about that paper, but like it still feels to be a different thing than just publishing a blog post or on paper, doesn't it?
I think so. Like, for me, I worked on the book for about a year, so it was a
Okay.
long project. Wasn't surprised by it being published because I knew the date, but I like just the process of seeing it come together. Like when they sent me the cover photo, it actually used to be a pocket guide, so the cover photo was completely orange. But
Hmm.
at some point, they decided to change it to like an actual graphic. So just like the process of them putting it together and like when they send it back to me edited, just the steps, it's interesting to me.
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to editors of publishers. I mean, people think that we're great as authors, but they do so much great work. I mean, I've got so much criticism and like positive criticism from my editor back then. My book wouldn't be as good if the person hadn't pushed back and challenged me and said like, do this better or do this differently. Did you feel the same? Was there a roundabout way to actually get better?
Like in my case, I'm really grateful to my editor Melissa because I was actually giving a keynote at DevNexus. It's a Java conference about how to get your kids into technology, and she was there watching my keynote. And I mean, she approached me after the book signing I had, and we had a discussion about the book I want to write, which is Raising Young Coders. But I think ever since then, I've really had a relationship with her. She's really helped me along the way to just every step of the way of getting the book published. If I have any questions, she just responds. I think they really do a
Cool.
lot for us.
Cool. How did that keynote go? Like, how did you feel about they getting putting that topic as the first thing as a keynote in a conference? It feels like one of those things you normally get like as a last talk of the day. But I love that they just put that up front and center. How did you feel about that?
For DevNexus, it was an afternoon keynote, but I recently gave a keynote at DevOps Belgium, and that really was front and center just in the morning, first thing. It's definitely a different feeling because normally, like, if the keynote or session is later, only people who really care about the topic want to come. But, like, in the morning, everyone's there. So, like, even people who normally wouldn't think about it are there. And I think it can be harder because not everyone understands. But at the same time, I think it's more important to have those opportunities because I think this is an important message to get like girls involved in technology and kids started young. And there's a lot of parents, like, you don't have to be passionate about kids and tech to have a kid. So
That's
by
true.
having like a morning keynote and reaching everyone, I'm hoping that it reaches more people who normally wouldn't consider it.
Hmm. And I mean, in terms of audience, like what ages do you actually try to reach with the books that you have? Like what is the age range that you got so far in feedback?
Uh, like basically anyone with who has kids. This is a project-based book, so I have projects which are fine for like up to 3-year-olds to like 16 or 18. So
Okay.
like anyone with kids in that range, but generally talking to older people, like an I've had a lot of luck with like an older Java audience because they're more likely to have kids.
Hmm. Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's just a natural age thing, like So you had two more books, right? It's the Raising Young Coders was the last one, but you had others before. What topics were
Yeah,
they
so
on?
this is another book I wrote called Fippy's AI Friend. This is a kids workshop book I wrote for the CNCF Kids Day. So
Okay.
I go to KubeCon every year and we have this kids program like before or after KubeCon. So you can see that there's the Phippy mascot and the Kubernetes logo.
Okay.
So this really reads like a normal picture book. Like if I open the pages, it's just colorful.
Okay. Cool.
But what's special about this is it's actually a workshop book. It has a Scratch programming. Is it possible to do a demo in this?
Sure. You can share your screen and get started.
Okay, so in this book, it will direct you to a site called phippyai.com. I host this on GitHub pages, and we actually have a lot of languages I translated the book to.
Can you bump up the font a bit? Command
Yeah,
plus.
is this better?
Cool. Yeah.
So in here we have workshop instructions. These are just the Scratch instructions. You can open the Scratch. This is a special version of Scratch I host on GitHub pages. Let me download the template and put it in.
It's good that Scratch now runs in the browser. It used to be Flash-based, and
Oh, it also wants to use my camera. Is that going to interfere? I'll see. Look, it's mirroring.
whoa.
Okay, so this special version of Scratch has the ML2 blocks, which is the AI part of it, and you can see my camera in this mini window.
Yeah.
So the idea with the book is you're training like what's on the camera to appear in game. So basically I hold up the book to the camera. I have this page with animals on it. These colorful animals.
Mm-hmm.
So basically I want to train the gopher right now, so I hold up the gopher like really close. And then I click train label 3.
That is so cool.
So I'm basically taking a photo each time I press it. With that checkbox, you can see how many pictures I'm taking. And in the
Okay.
game, I can make the gopher appear.
Huh.
And since it's always appearing, even when I'm not holding up, I have to train another label just on my face. And it'll fix itself. So when I hold the book up, it has the animal run across.
Mm-hmm.
I also have another version of this with the Minecraft creeper, which kids really like. You're basically just training the different characters.
So it does image detection on that, or shape detection, or is the QR code
It's
on the
image
thing? Or
detection.
okay, this is really cool.
So it sees the creeper
Yeah,
and it can tell it apart from the gopher.
that is really cool.
So it's like
And
a
again,
workshop book.
And again,
So
it's great that you can host all of that on GitHub pages. Like you don't need to pay hosting. You don't need to actually sort things out. It's like I love that GitHub pages is just there for you to do that. I was at a conference last week, Beyond Tellerrun, and one of the speakers was talking about like how she got her cousin to write an HTML page, and then she was complaining that there's hosting is hard to find. That back in the days it was easy to get these free pages like Neopet pages, GeoCities, and these kind of things. And these are all gone. Like everything is either a page maker, a website generator thing, or it's proper hosting for like all kind of stuff. But GitHub Pages really works, and it's pretty easy to just set up an account in GitHub and then just host your stuff there. And if you don't make put lots of ads on it, you don't create like tons of traffic, they don't mind at all. I think it's a very good way to get started, especially as Visual Studio Code is built in. Like if you press full stop, Visual Studio Code opens in the browser with your repository already edited. And that's just wonderful that these environments are now in every browser, and you don't need to actually install something, download something, get people started. So that breaking that barrier between with the camera and the book is a very, very good way to get people excited about that kind of stuff. And I think it's really cute how that was done. How did the funding of that go? Like, did it just like did Kubernetes and other people pay for it, or did
Uh,
you pay for that?
how it worked is like there's a CNCF Kids Day attached to KubeCon, so a lot of the people running KubeCon are passionate about the kids program. So they gave me some funding to pay for the illustrator. So I had a French illustrator, Ramon, do all the illustrations. So it looks very professional.
Mhm.
But I think most of the funding was just for the illustration costs. Like actually making
Mhm.
the book was just my time and energy and passion.
Cool. And it paid off. It's obviously that's the case right now. And I mean the idea that nowadays image detection and shape detection is so easy to do inside an scratch environment. It's just like I remember when we started with machine learning, it was like, and now it takes like 5 minutes to scan the thing, and hopefully it's a cat or a dog. We don't know yet, but now it's pretty much detailed, and that every laptop has a camera in it as well is another benefit. So this is really fun to see that these things come out of that. Um, how did you feel about these different events like connected to that? Do you feel like these huge things, of course, are exciting, but do you think like a workshop where you have the people in the room, you have more a handle on people, or what did you enjoy more as an educator, as a trainer?
I think it's different. I mean, of course, I enjoy working with kids more because I'm interacting with each individual kid and I know each person is learning something they can take home. But I think one of the reasons I wanted to write the Raising Young Coders book and do more sessions is because it lets me reach the parents. A lot of times when I teach kids, they go home to their parents, but their parents weren't with them and they don't have the same inspiration to continue the learning at home. So I think with a book resource and like sessions and reaching more people, like by getting the parents inspired, they'll be more likely to want to work on it with their kids.
I think it's a good generational thing. I remember I wrote my book so my parents would stop asking me questions because they have no idea what computers were. They hated computers. They didn't know what I was doing as a job. And when they had a book in their hand and with my photo on it, they stopped asking questions. They realized I was successful and they realized I'm making money somehow. So the physical bit of that was the one that broke the barrier for them because they had just no connection with computers at all. And I think it's great that the that you people like you are putting the effort in to get the next generation excited through the parents as well, and also remind the parents of their kind of like duty to actually make that happen and make it easier for them to get the kids excited because sometimes getting people excited about what dad or mom does is not easy to do, but with a resource like that it might be easier.
There's already a lot of educational resources out there for teaching kids, but unless you're like in the loop and teaching kids, you don't know what resources to use. Like some of the projects I have here are this is like a Lego crab.
Okay.
You it basically runs with motors and you can program it with block coding.
Okay, cool.
Like you might have heard of the Lego Spike. It's the Lego company's version of this, but it costs like $400 a kit.
But that's the cool thing about Lego. You can always take the other bits and make things out of it. You don't have to buy the perfect kit.
Yeah,
Like,
this one's actually called Makerzoid. It's by a China company, and I picked it
yeah,
because it's at a more affordable range. But it
yeah,
basically does the same thing. It has the motor in the back, and you can build a lot of things. They have an app with like over 100 projects.
excellent, cool. Yeah, I mean, I just love that these things happen. You said also one of your drives is to get more girls into coding, or into IT in general. In your degree, in your university, do you think there's still a huge discrepancy? What are the numbers like in your courses?
I'm actually attending an online course, so it's difficult for me to see. But just like a year ago, I attended one of my boyfriend's computer science classes, and I think there were a lot of boys. There
Hmm.
were like maybe a fifth or a quarter girls, a lot of them with mixed nationality.
Hmm.
I think it might be an improvement over things before. I hope things get better.
Yeah, I was surprised that I once gave a talk at a university in Jordan, the country Jordan, and that was like 80% women in computer science and like 20% men. And I was like, okay, that's interesting because it was like a new market for them or a new thing to try out. And I love that because it's like, yeah, I mean, we build software for people. So we need to be as diverse as our audience. Like we cannot just build things with one mindset or one a bias that a certain group has. And it makes so much more sense to have like when I led engineering teams and they were more diverse than just five guys in a room. It would we built so many more better products because basically we got rid of our own prejudices and basically said like, okay, this is what do you think about that? And different inputs are super important for that kind of stuff. So it's good to see that there's hopefully a change, and yeah, it's great to see that like the next generation can learn from projects like yours. Now we have a congress coming up in America in September. I would love to have you as a speaker as well. Is there any chance of doing that or getting that sorted?
Yeah, I could speak there. I would be happy
Cool.
to.
Cool. Anything else you want to tell our audience about, like anything that you want to that what drives you? What can other people learn from your ideas? Do you think publishing is easy to do, or is it did you were you lucky to find the right people at the right time?
Um, Publishing is difficult. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. It's a long process. But I think if you do it, it's something to be proud of and it's definitely worth your time. And I definitely want to encourage more people to get their kids involved with technology, even when they're very young. Like one of the projects you could do is like a squishy circuits Play-Doh project. So just conductive Play-Doh and LEDs. So really kids super young can even do technology. It's never too early.
Cool. And it tastes horrible, but that's basically the downside of Play-Doh. But other than that, that's conductive already is a really good thing to have. Cool. Well, I thank you very much for your time, and I think that was an exciting insight into what you've been doing. How can people reach you online? Like, how do you want to be reached? Do you want to talk to people? Like, where can they find out more about you?
I would be happy to reach out to people. I'm on like Twitter, LinkedIn, GitHub. I think those three. Any other social platforms?
Okay, cool. Well, thanks very much, Cassandra. This was Coffee with Developers with Cassandra Chin on getting young people into development and young people into computing. Check out her book. It's on A-Press. We probably find a way to actually get you access to it somehow. I'll talk to some people at A-Press and see if we can get you can get some to actually give out or something. We'll see about that.
I
But
also
other
have
than
a
that,
20% off discount code for the Raising Young Coders book. So I'll give that to
okay,
you and you can put it in a link.
I will do. I will put it in the description of the video of this Coffee with Developer edition. And that was Coffee with Developers for today with Cassandra Chin. Thanks very much, Cassandra. Hopefully you had a good time.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye.